All right, welcome to this session of the 2025 Northwest Interlibrary Loan and Resource Sharing Conference. Today's date is September 11th, 2025. This session is titled Harnessing Interlibrary Loan Surveys for Strategic Library Assessment and will be presented by Sofiya Dahman, Brighid Gonzales, Harrington, and my name is Caitlin Cushman, and I'm the convener for this session. Please let us know if you can't hear or can't see the shared screen. This session is being recorded with permission from the presenters. We will plan to make these recordings available once the captions have been added. Expect an email from Huba when the recordings have been posted, about 3 weeks after the conference. We will take questions at the end of the session from the room and from virtual attendees on Huba. Our virtual colleagues should post questions on Huba Q&A tab, and don't forget to upvote your favorites. After the session, please complete the survey to enter to win one of our prizes, and this is open to all attendees. If anyone in the room is logged into Huba, please remember not to start this presentation on your device. And now I will turn the session over to our presenters.
Hello, welcome to our presentation on harnessing interlibrary loan surveys for strategic library assessment. My name is Brighid Gonzales, and I am the systems librarian at the University of Memphis Libraries. Also presenting with me are Sofiya Dahman, the interlibrary loan and resource delivery librarian, and Harrington, the head of information access services, the department that houses both ILL and library systems. Next slide. In this presentation, we will share how the University of Memphis Libraries conducted a survey of library ILL users and used the data we gathered to inform new implementations and improvements to our interlibrary loan services. We'll begin by presenting an overview of the library and its ILL department, and then share our research methods, survey results, the changes and implementations we made, and the next steps for this project. The University of Memphis has an FTE of almost 15,000 students with a total of over 4,400 employees. The university libraries, which is made up of the main campus library along with 3 branch libraries, employs 74 faculty, staff, and administrative personnel. The library's collections includes over 1.2 million volumes in print and over 630,000 ebooks, as well as over 15,000 print serials and more than 128,000 e-serials. Our interlibrary loan librarian, Sofiya Dahman, will provide an overview of the library's ILL department.
Our ILL team includes 1 faculty librarian, that's my position, 3 full-time library assistants, and 1 part-time student worker, whom we share with the collection development and acquisitions team. I'll give you an idea of our operations. We processed over 24,000 ILL transactions in the fiscal 2024-2025. Our University of Memphis patrons submitted 10,406 borrowing requests. We received nearly 12,245 lending requests from other institutions and handled 1,355 document delivery requests to scan articles and chapters from our print holdings and deliver them to our faculty, staff, and students. And I would say that that makes us a mid-sized resource sharing operation. We use ILLiad to manage our resource sharing needs. Our discovery services provider is EBSCO, and our integrated library system is Sierra. We also use RapidILL integrated into ILLiad. In August of 2022, OCOC invited us to participate in the Express Digital Delivery Program, which means that we are committed to fulfilling requests in 18 hours or less. We're also a part of the library's Very Interesting in Sharing group, and we share our print collection for a period of 12 weeks with 4 weeks renewal, which allows library users in other institutions to borrow from us for a whole semester. We're also a self-hosted library, and in 2022, we subscribed to the Atlas Systems annual concierge services. We have an ISO setup with East Tennessee State University, Brandeis University, and our statewide network ShareIt, hosted by the Tennessee State Library and Archives. And in the next slide, Kathleen will walk you over a review of the research methods we used to conduct this survey.
Next, thank you. A comprehensive attempt to assess ILL user satisfaction had never been conducted at the University of Memphis to the best of the presenter's knowledge. With new leadership within the ILL office and throughout the University of Memphis libraries, it was a great opportunity to gauge how our users were experiencing this service. Sofiya had been in her role for 5 years and had made many changes in that time, which we believed were valued by our users, but we did not have data to confirm. We'd like to briefly thank Brian Miller at Ohio State for sharing with us his own ILL satisfaction survey, which helped tremendously as a guide while we developed our survey instrument. Next slide, please. The survey was created and distributed using Qualtrics. We began the survey with definitions of interlibrary loan and resource delivery and a brief explanation of its purpose. We advised participants that the survey should take 10 to 20 minutes to complete. Our first question employed skip logic to remove participants who had never used interlibrary loan. We then used questions 2 through 4 to ask participants how they had heard of ILL, for what reasons they had used ILL, and what types of materials they have requested through ILL. Next slide. We then used a matrix table with a 1 to 5 Likert scale to determine participant satisfaction with several components of the ILL service, including ease of use, clarity of policies, time to receive physical loans, renewals, access to status updates and request history, email notices, helpfulness of the ILL office staff, and overall service experience. Next slide. In question 6, we narrowed in specifically on ILL requests for journal articles, book chapters, and proceedings, which is the most popular use of ILL at the University of Memphis. We asked participants whether they had used this service before and followed with another 1 to 5 Likert scale matrix table, assessing their satisfaction with the experience of requesting PDFs. Next slide. Questions 8 and 9 asked participants to select which aspects of ILL they would like to see improved and to share what part of the ILL service is most valued to them. Question 8 was multiple choice with directions to select more than one option if applicable, and question 9 was an open text box. Next slide. We concluded the survey with questions to learn more information about our participants. Question 10 asked their affiliation with or status at the University of Memphis. If they selected faculty, then we used display logic to ask whether they use mail-to-office delivery service, which is available only to faculty, and on what campus they teach. Participants who selected faculty, doctoral student, or staff/administrative professional were also asked whether they were aware of the option to have ILL materials mailed to their home address. Finally, all participants, regardless of their affiliation or status, were asked what department they belonged to and to rate on the scale of 1 to 5 how likely they were to borrow using ILL and recommend the service. Next slide. The survey was distributed on February 11th, 2025, and remained open until April 1st. Participation in the survey was marketed extensively while the survey was open, including the following: a link on the University Library's homepage, a canned message on our LibChat, flyers at the circulation and reference desks, direct email to high-volume ILL users. It was included in all ILLiad email templates to users, on the ILLiad homepage as a system web alert, posted to social media, emailed to all university libraries personnel, and emailed to various U of M working groups and committees, including the Mentorship Network, Faculty Senate, Center for International Education Services, College of Arts and Sciences Student Services, and the University Undergraduate Council. I'll now pass it back to Brighid, who will be sharing our survey results.
Next slide, please. The library's ILL survey had a total of 324 responses, of which 77% said they had used ILL previously. 18% said they had never used ILL, and 4% were not sure. 55% of the survey respondents were U of M faculty, while 21% were doctoral students, 10% were staff or administrative professionals, 9% were master's students, and 5% were undergraduates. Respondents were asked which department they were from, with 57 separate departments represented in the responses. The English department hosted the most survey participants at 18, with engineering, music, and communication and film having 10 or more participants each. The rest of the top 10 most represented departments included history, counseling, educational psychology and research, nursing, the Center for Earthquake Research and Information, earth sciences, and philosophy. The most frequently cited reason for placing an ILO request was for research or publishing, which was selected by 172 survey participants. 81 respondents said they used ILO for teaching or curricular purposes, and 76 said they used it for a class assignment. Other reasons for placing ILO requests included for thesis or dissertation research, a work project, to get textbooks for class, for leisure reading, to request research materials for someone else, and to request a library book purchase. 163 respondents said they had used ILL to request articles, and 137 said they had used ILL to request physical items from other institutions. 86 respondents used ILL to request an ebook, while 70 had used it to request a scanned copy of print material from the library's collections. 25 respondents used it to make a request for purchase. The University of Memphis ILO department offers a service for faculty to have ILO materials delivered directly to their office on campus. 26% of faculty said they had used this service, while 20% said they preferred to pick up their items at the library in person. Nearly half of faculty respondents indicated that they did not know this option was available. Faculty, staff, and doctoral students are also provided with the option to have ILO materials mailed directly to their home address. Only 18% of respondents in these categories said they had made use of this option, while 82% had not. Survey participants were asked to rate their satisfaction with ILL services from 1 to 5, with 5 being the most satisfied. Participants were asked to rate the helpfulness of ILL staff, ease of use, email notifications, the clarity of policies, access to request history, access to status updates, renewals, and the time to receive materials. All ILL services received an average rating over 4, with physical loans and PDFs and scanned articles receiving similar ratings across services. Overall, the helpfulness of the ILL staff was rated the highest, with a 4.78 average, followed by ease of use at 4.68, email notifications at 4.63, and clarity of policies at 4.62. The time to receive materials received the lowest overall rating at 4.46. Survey participants were also asked what they would like to see improved about the library's ILL services. The most requested improvement was the length of the loan period, with 51 respondents selecting that it was too short. 19 respondents requested the quality of PDF scans be improved, while 15 said that the requested item they received was not in the desirable format. 12 respondents said the ILL interface was not user-friendly. Other requests for improvement selected by respondents included that open access versions of articles provided were not the version of record, that the wrong material was delivered, that they were charged a late fee or replacement fee, that the item they requested did not provide the information needed, and that the item delivered was for library use only. 36 respondents selected other and wrote in their complaints, which included dual enrollment teachers not having ILL privileges, that article access now requires an extra click, that they were provided a link for access that didn't work, that loans sometimes took too long with minimal updates about when the loan would arrive, or that by the time the material arrived, the requester no longer needs it, that they aren't able to renew an item prior to the due date or to renew an item multiple times, and that the request was unable to be filled, but no reason was given for the rejection. Sofiya will now discuss the changes and implementations that were made in response to the survey results.
Thank you so much, Brighid. As Brighid mentioned, our users wanted longer landing periods, better quality scans, wanted us to deliver materials in the format they've requested it, and noted holdings and open access inaccuracies. To address the longer landing periods, I made some changes to our custom holdings, paths, and groups configurations in the OCOC's WordShare ILL interface. As many of you know, one of the ongoing topics in the resource sharing community is scans PDF files quality. We all want to make sure that what our users receive is clear, legible, and meets accessibility needs. In our ILL office, we use BScan system, and we are scheduled to get an upgraded scanner later this fiscal year. Our ITS team configured the current equipment to meet established image quality standards. We also keep a printed scanning guide on the workstation as a quick reminder to staff and students of the expectations. On the borrowing side, we take users' feedback seriously, and if a patron reports that scans are consistently poor, we investigate who lent us the article and remove that lender from our preferred groups, so we don't continue to rely on them in the future. Thankfully, this is not a frequent occurrence. As Brighid mentioned, we asked our survey participants for honest and constructive feedback on the ILL services. It was important to us, and we believe we received it. 36 participants shared additional comments that helped us make some immediate changes to our workflows and FAQs. Users left impactful comments and suggestions of what we could do better, and we have included the most valuable in the next 2 slides. I would not read the slides word by word, but we thought it would be helpful to this community to share it. So here we're sharing them with you in the presentation. Most of their recommendations were not a surprise to me. We addressed some of the suggestions before the survey closed, and some comments, such as the comments for access to ILL for dual enrollment teachers, or the frustration that the University of Memphis, as an R1 institution, is not a member of the Association of Research Libraries, are beyond our abilities to change at this moment. One of the clearest messages from our users' feedback was that the ILL service is essential to their research and teaching, and many emphasize that it directly supports their academic success, and some suggested that if the library cannot invest more in extra resources and collections, then additional support should be directed toward ILL. Parallelly, they noted issues that required immediate attention, such as changes to office and mail-to-home address delivery practices, as well as campus-to-branch library transfer failures. We have a library branch in Jackson, Tennessee, and we frequently have challenges, such as book is shipped to us instead of them, even when we apply the constant data for Lambert branch. Or a book that we receive from a lender directly to us here in our main campus, we just place it on hold in the main campus ILL shelves versus shipping it to the branch library. I address these by conducting one-on-one staff trainings, meeting with our branch librarian to seek their input of the process, changing the ILL book strap text to indicate action versus just the address on campus or the home address where an item should be sent to. On the comment about more updates regarding when an item is expected, I continue to send staff reminders about the importance of sending patron status updates and work with our ILL users to remind them that they can view the status of a transaction in their Iliad account and anytime they want to. Strengthening our delivery workflows, assigning clear accountability, and highlighting the importance of responding to users in a timely manner is an ongoing effort and requires strategizing and keeping staff continuously motivated. Another critical issue the participants identified was renewals. Users could not request a renewal until the day an item is due. They shared that they would like the flexibility to request a renewal earlier and in many cases to renew a book more than once. The first part of the workflow issue was addressed immediately by adjusting our renewal settings in ILLiad. We decided to address the ability to request multiple renewals in our FAQs, as many libraries do not allow multiple renewals, even when we ask them manually. ILL users who took the survey reported frustration with holdings and linking inaccuracy when links to articles were sent to them via open access decision support pipeline or our LibKey ILLiad integration. The unmediated links provided to them in these cases led to nowhere or to paywall content. They expressed that it was frustrating and a waste of their time to email us and let us know so we can address it. This is a known problem, I assume in many libraries, that lies with the nature of e-resources and open access data. And we collaborate with and report these issues immediately to our e-resources and cataloging team to improve our holdings accuracy. Enhancing the speed of handling requests when an alternative format is needed was another important area that survey participants mentioned. They noted the requests for screen-readable versions are not always processed as quickly. Unfortunately, this process requires confirmation by our Disability Resources for Students office, and scanning a whole book when possible, or purchasing it simply takes us a bit longer than handling usual loan requests. One of my favorite comments was the reluctance to request physical copies of books. Our collection management policy is to purchase ebooks if they are available and meet the library's purchase criteria. However, as an ILL practitioner, and probably many of you that are in this conference know that it's so much easier for us to obtain print versus a whole ebook. And most of our feedback from users actually is the opposite. Users prefer an ebook access and indicate that in the notes of a request of transaction, even in the cases when they have submitted an ebook only request. This particular comment challenges us as librarians to reconsider format-neutral collection management strategies and reflects on the role of libraries in cultivating the nature of reading versus being providers of access. Although ebooks offer convenience, the libraries don't own them, and they also bring along licensing and access restrictions as well as accessibility, platform usability issues. In this slide, I kind of made a more visually appealing and concise summary of what I just spoke about, just the main post-survey changes that we have made. This is what we implemented in ILLiad. I work with Kerry from Atlas System to add ebook-only request form in our ILLiad web pages. And I also work with our e-resources librarian, Marie, to add a request for an individual book chapter through Interlibrary loan in EDS. I'm just sharing these slides with you, just in case you do have similar needs. This is the changes we made to the bookstrap and to indicate action versus just posting the address or location where an item have to be shipped. We also included information about overdue and lost book charges since we removed late fees earlier in the year. Although my section of the presentation focused on suggestions and feedback for future improvements, I want to emphasize again that our users reported a consistently high level of satisfaction with the ILL services. And many have remarked that the ILL process has improved dramatically over the years, and that access to research materials through interlibrary loan has significantly supported their academic success, research, and publication endeavors. I'm deeply grateful to my team, Paula, Cortez, Nisha, and our student worker Nakar for their dedication. Paula in particular has stepped into multiple roles over the past 5 years due to staff shortages and has remained motivated, flexible, and open-minded as we introduced changes, some of which were not always easy to or wasn't intuitive at first, even for us when we were doing them. As we continue to refine our ILL services, we aim to deliver a high level of satisfaction to our users. We are also keeping an eye on meaningful improvements for the future. Looking ahead, our plans include conducting ILL cost analysis to better understand and manage expenses related to ILL and resource sharing. That has also never been done here. We already have started working on it, and I appreciate our ISRO library partners who took the time to collect and share their information with me. We also plan on engaging in strategic ILL operations, such as conducting a survey, this type of survey over the next 3 or 5 years again, to ensure that we continue to efficiently meet our users' needs. I provide data for annual assessments. Sometimes it's fiscal, sometimes it's calendar on the ILL performance. And we are expecting an implementation of a new integrated library system. And prior to that, we plan to assess ILL technology and system functionality. In addition, we'll continue to gather make informal assessments, such as reviewing our chat transcripts. Yes, I read this article, the Meg Massey and Mallory Witzik article earlier this spring, and have shared it with our research and instruction team, who provided the chat transcripts for us. We are reviewing input by library users who mention ILL in these transcripts, and also sometimes when a library survey by another department is conducted, ILL is mentioned, so we collect that data as well. We're also receiving direct feedback from users to identify areas of improvements and potential innovations, and also to honestly celebrate what our users value and appreciate about our service, so we can build upon those strengths. And that concludes our presentation. If you have any questions, you can contact us after the presentation. And we have included the survey that we use we shared the survey with the NWILL committee. So if you don't know where to start, just like I didn't know, the template for the survey is provided to those that are interested as part of the conference. And I will turn now to the convener for questions. I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
We can't hear the room.
Yep. Can you hear us now?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, we had to wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
Would you, this is from Melissa Jackson. Would you be willing to share your survey instrument after the conference is over?
Yeah. We actually have attached it as it will be attached to we send the survey to the planning committee, so everybody who attended the conference can just download the template that we use to conduct the survey. So happily sharing.
Here's for you.
Okay, thank you. So this question is from Dev Singer. Did you break down satisfaction for time to receive between physical and digital requests?
So We shared it with.
I don't know. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I need some help from my co-presenters. I mean, this is at the beginning of the year.
Would you
I'm
would you
most-
repeat the question, please?
Yeah, did you break down satisfaction for quote time to receive between physical and digital request?
Yes, we did. So we had two different, we got more specific. We had a more specific question about digital articles and proceedings and book chapters, and we asked them about the time to receive specific to journal articles. I think that answers the question.
Okay. Did anyone in the room have any questions?
We have one over here. And also I was just asking about confirming the access to the survey template.
We'll figure out how to.
We'll figure out exactly where we're gonna put the access to it.
And for those of you who want to review the whole survey, I have sent it to whoever have asked me. It's anonymous survey. You want to look at other institution satisfaction survey, I will happily share that PDF. It's like 100 and something pages.
I'm just curious, for all of the ones that were dissatisfaction with format, or that they were the wrong format, were they all ebook, physical book difficulties, or were there other formats that came into play as well? Or did you not specify?
I think that they just had to click. We didn't specify. I assume that what they meet as the wrong format is the wrong edition, because that is what we would normally receive as a complaint, or like somebody will. And occasionally a library had sent us, as we also have done, very rarely send the wrong book accidentally, and the person that has processed the request hasn't looked at a user have picked up that wrong book and say, well, actually, I did not request that. It had happened for my 5 years once or twice.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Libby.
It's good to see you too. I know I saw a good one in here.
Hey, thank you for this presentation. One question, did survey results affect promotion or outreach methods regarding how you tell your community about ILL and what you have to offer?
That's a great question. We don't do very much outreach in ILL. Don't you think that is correct, Kathleen, to say?
I wouldn't say it changed any efforts towards promotion. I know that Sofiya, in early discussions about the survey, wanted the survey itself to be a form of promotion, to make people aware of ILL, and specifically the questions about, do you use the mail delivery to your home address, was in part a way to bring that to participants' attention if they were not aware that it was available, to make them aware. And so I don't think we've done much promotion since then. We're our resource budget is stable from year to year, and so our community relies on interlibrary loan a lot. I would say interlibrary loan requires little promotion. It's highly used, and it's used extensively by our community to supplement what we can't afford to include in the collection.
I'm gonna ask a question as someone who's running the mic. Did you have to do an what's it called, an IRB, institutional review board type thing, or get approval for having this made and sent out?
So I'm a clinical faculty only. I'm not required to do scholarship or published. I did that purely to evaluate and see where we stand. We did submit an IRB. We tried to submit an IRB exception, to ask for an exception. And they were coming back and forth, edit this, edit that, like simple things, like how the survey participants would exit the survey. We'll click the X on the right side of so at a certain time I'll be honest with you, I got a little bit tired with their back and forth and said, look, I'm launching this survey. I don't require to publish a peer review article to get promoted in my position. And I would say that maybe Kathleen has a little bit more time here with the libraries, but this survey has been one of the most, we have had the most participants ever at the library survey that for my 5 years. Like, so we are a valued service. And honestly, we didn't share that with you and probably should have, but we had many positive comments just in the section that people can put free texts. So perhaps we should have shared that for motivation, but the goal of this presentation was what changes we made using the survey. And we didn't think that these positive comments were needed here.
Okay, we've got some more online questions from Kelly Minars. We've also made use of the Ohio State ILL survey. Did you make any significant changes to the survey to better fit your institution?
Yes, not significant, but we did edit that template a lot to fit our needs. But it was a wonderful start. I don't think that if Brian hasn't provided that template to me, I would have started it this year, the survey. Like, it was very helpful to have a starting point, especially from somebody so well regarded in the community. And he literally responded to my request to share the survey the day I submitted. So I really valued his collegiality and professionalism. So thank you, Brian. I'm not sure if he attends the conference.
Okay, another online question from Kyla Hedge. Sorry if this is said already, but what was your goal in conducting the survey in the first place? What points did you make to your administration to approve it?
Well, we didn't have to make many points because an ILL survey has never been conducted. So we needed to use the survey as a base for future assessment. This is our starting point of assessing ILL, and not just what we think our users think about us, but what actually now we have data and feedback from them actually to base our future assessment on ILL and resource delivery.
I would also add that we're getting a push from our administration to do more surveys and more assessments of our community's perspectives about the library. This also came out of an effort with the university's reaccreditation in the past year. Our accreditors wanted more data in general about how well we're performing, not just the library, but various units on campus. And so this survey was, I would say, wholly welcomed as another opportunity to get feedback from faculty and students about how the library is meeting their needs.
Okay, thank you. And Iliad, do you have users select their shipping location in the request itself, or is it in the account level only?
It's in the account level only. So they have to make changes to their personal preferences when they're setting up the account, or they can edit the account after, but we do not ask them in the transaction, like each individual transaction. That's a good idea, but I don't know.
Any more questions in the room? Do you borrow ebooks for your patrons? If not, is this something you are looking into to improve more access to ebooks? That's from Jennifer Nagbit.
If the user submits an ebook only request, that's what we will be aiming to borrow for them. If we can, we use the ebook string to see libraries that share whole ebook. But in most cases, I would just reroute the ebook only. I would review it in OCUC, and then I would reroute to collection management for purchase if I can figure it out. Most of the time, I can figure it out by seeing who the publisher is or who the institutions that have holdings, whether or not they can share. It's very, most of these requests are rerouted for purchase, unfortunately.
Sorry, back to the question. How do you go about troubleshooting? What changes are needed in response to the feedback? And how do you prioritize changes amidst the day-to-day busyness?
Well, fortunately, most of the people were satisfied by what we already provided. And we, as I said, we tweaked a little bit. We made some tweaks in the EDS with the Electronic Resources Librarian. I made some changes to the bookstrap. A lot of my job is reviewing what doesn't go well and finding ways to fix it. Most of the requests that I process as librarian are extensive searches only. So the main processing day-to-day operation falls to the 3 people that work in our ILL office. So that gives me time to detail and work on those improvements that users are wanting to see. Is that answering the question?
If it's not, they can respond back. So what is the population size? What population size, entire university or limited to ILL users? I'm thinking in terms of sample size calculation for the survey. What was the was the population size the entire university or limited to ILL users only?
So I'm not sure I understand the question, but so we distributed the survey to everyone. Anyone could participate. But if an early question in the survey was if you'd ever used interlibrary loan, and if folks said no, then they were exited from the survey. So so only people who had used ILL before were eligible to take the full survey. Does that answer that question, or is there a different, am I missing something?
I think they were just trying to get the idea of how big the population of people were asked, but we are, yeah.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know who all saw it. Because we were sort of, I don't know how many people looked at the social media. I don't know how many people picked up the flyer from the reference desk, and then if they followed through on taking the survey. Bridget, did you have our FTE in the institutional information?
Yeah, it was just under 15,000 for the full university FTE.
So that gives you sort of a sense of how many, we would love to have reached all 15,000 of those people, but I'm not sure exactly how many people we actually got the survey to.
And honestly, at the same time, our library was also conducting a more strategic survey for faculty and students. So we were, I don't know, blasting a lot of surveys at the same time, if I can say that. Sometimes it's too much assessment.
This is Miriam. I have a follow-up to that.
Hi,
So do you know
Miriam. Good to see you.
Hi, Sofiya.
Yeah.
So I was at Vanderbilt. So I was down the street from Sofiya for the last 5 years. I say down the street, but it's like 100 miles and 3 hours of driving. But so when you kind of to frame the previous question a little differently, do you know how many people clicked no at the beginning of that? Like, have you ever used ILL and they clicked no and like abandoned the survey from there?
Is that in the results, Bridget?
Yeah, I
Did you
think
include
Brigitte
that?
included that, yeah.
Yeah, it was 18% of the people who started the survey clicked no, so they would have been routed out of the survey at that point. And the people who had said they used it before would have been routed on to answer the questions specifically about their experience.
So we're wrapping up. It's the end of the session, but there's some more questions to be. Okay, there's some more questions if the presenters would be able to, at a later time, answer those questions. But I would just like to say thank you for attending this session. Please complete the post-session survey in Whova, which you can access from the QR code or the link in the session chat. The link is also in this session description. The NWILL Planning Committee and our presenters appreciate your feedback. If you want to continue the conversation, you can use the chat within the session in the Whova community section. And thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you for having us.